In this video, the intention is to invite the tremors into the hip region, muscles including the gluteal muscles, the deep rotators, hip flexors, also quadriceps, maybe even hamstring. So from the butterfly pose, I'm just starting to activate by bringing the knees closer and closer together until it initiates that tremoring mechanism. Once it's initiated, feet go flat onto the floor, which can help encourage the tremors to move throughout the body. The goal for today is to bring the tremors more towards the right hip region. So for now, I'm just letting them move as they might want to. Again, that's the area that we're looking to target. The right hip closest to the camera. So there's a combination of allowing the pelvis to rotate towards the right, allowing the right hip to open up a little bit wider. This tended to bring the tremors a bit more into the adductors, the muscles of the groin. Changing foot position, either having it a little bit further from the buttocks or potentially even closer. We'll just adjust how much tension is on those muscles and can vary the tremors. Throughout, I found this quite relaxing for some of the muscles I have tightest in my body are around the right hip. Bringing the feet nice and close, crossing the ankles was another way to bring it towards those adductor muscles. Slightly different pattern. But these are just different ideas or invitations that I'm trying to cue the tremors towards muscles around the right hip. In my body, I feel the tremors want to persist for their own unique amount of time, sometimes a couple seconds, sometimes a few minutes. And it can be really important just to listen to what the body's wanting to do. It may be a little hard to see in this angle, but what I've done is brought my feet flat on the ground and a little bit wider than hip width apart. This has the knees slightly closer together than the feet. I tended to feel more of the movement, the tremoring, on the outside and front of the hips. Roughly where the tensor fascia lata muscle or TFL muscle lives. But really with TRE, we're not looking to specifically isolate any one muscle group. It's more a combination or a pattern of muscles. So when it seemed to be a little bit strong, I just had a little break. Found the belly breath. And then activated again when I felt ready. Next, we're working towards the quadriceps muscle on the front of the thigh. So lightly supporting the back of the leg and straightening the knee up towards the ceiling. I really felt this on the top and front of the quadriceps, a muscle perhaps like the rectus femoris, which not only straightens the knee, but also flexes the hip. This is a very commonly tight muscle in my body, or group of muscles, and it felt quite relaxing to let them tremor. Now I did also feel some movement in the hamstrings, but because of the position where I'm actually asking my body to straighten the leg, I wouldn't think that it would cause as much of a tremor in the hamstring being under quite a bit of load or tension. I found that when trying different invitations or cues to move the tremors around the body, you want light tension into the area you're looking to target, but it should be relatively relaxed, which is why I use my hands just to support the thigh in that last invitation. To get towards the back of that hip region, I've actually found turning over onto the stomach to be quite useful. Bending up the knees, plus or minus, maybe crossing the ankles, can really encourage tremors to move into the hamstrings and up into the low back. Likely hip flexors are getting a little bit of work here as well. So as you can see, the pelvis is rocking a little bit side to side. There's little pelvic tilts in towards the mat, which felt like they were around those deep hip flexor muscles, such as the psoas, the iliacus, and other similar hip flexors. In this position, on occasion, I'll hold a pillow underneath my chest, between the shoulders and down towards the pelvis, to lift it off the ground a little bit, as it can make it a bit easier on the neck. So in this position then, I'm letting my right leg fall out to the side slightly, a position known as hip internal rotation, which really seemed to bring on a very fast tremoring, high frequency tremoring. And it seemed quite relaxing. My body was really wanting to explore this for a few minutes. Whenever it felt strong, I'd slow it down by straightening out the legs, tucking my toes underneath me,